All right, welcome back. We are still on Friday. It's 11/28, 2025. It is 6:02, and we are working on the next video. That way, you don't got to consume such large videos of information. I'll just try to chop these things up and make it easy for you. We're going to jump into an article. IMF warns tokenized markets may deepen flash crashes, says government. Governments will step in. All right, so let's get into this article. The IMF dropped the explanatory video. IMF lays out benefits of tokenized markets. The video frames tokenization as the next step in money's evolution. This is the important part of this, all of this. We can go further, but like this says it all. We've talked about the market and how this is where it's going. No ifs, ands, or buts. I got involved in 2018. A good friend of mine kept telling me, stop teetering and tottering. Just create the account, get in there, start getting these assets. The future is nigh or at hand, right? So I just jumped in after listening to him go on, and you know what? I'm just going to do it. 2018 wasn't much popping off. 2019, I think stuff started jumping off. 2019, shit kind of went crazy. But anyways, since 2018, I've been talking with my good friend about this, and we stay talking about this stuff, as you all should, because this, if there was any reason for you to get involved in the crypto space, I'm about to lay it out with this one right here. It says the IMF lays out benefits of tokenized markets. The video frames tokenization as the next step in money's evolution, explaining that tokenization can make it faster and cheaper to buy, own, and sell assets by cutting down the long chain of intermediaries, middlemen, people in the way. You know, it was so hard years ago to get involved in the stock market. I remember when I was 18, 19, the only way I got in the stock market was with a 401k. And this was a long time ago. I know, like, you're probably like, what do you mean? A long time ago, you know. So, that, you know, back then when I wanted to, you know, become one who could invest, it required $15,000 up front, and you had to know somebody to make the initial connection to start investing for you. You didn't have all this access at your fingertips. You didn't have this stuff with a phone. We didn't even have phones like this. You didn't even have the internet big like this where you can get on websites. And some of you are probably like, what do you mean? That's crazy. Yeah, well, you were born into an internet. You were born with cell phones or smartphones. A lot of us weren't. We had to, I can tell you, when I started working at my real job, is when they started coming out with the debit card for the company, right? Where you could get a debit card, and then they would put your payroll on a debit card, and you would receive your money weekly or bi-weekly, however you got paid, instead of getting that check. And a lot of people opted out and they kept getting their check, which is no different than what's happening right now with the crypto market. A lot of people will opt out. The younger crowd, they're just going to jump in and take the wallet. The wallet's no different than the debit card at the time when I was coming up. So I've seen this happen before. I'm not shocked that it's happening now. No surprise for me. But let's continue. Instead of relying on clearinghouses and registrars, a tokenized market can automate those functions in code. There's the video. I will try to remember to put the link in the description. If I forget, please forgive me, because I'm making a bunch of short videos. I'll try to keep these tabs open when I'm putting these videos up so I can remember to link all this stuff. I will try. Do not be so hard if I forget. I apologize beforehand. According to the IMF, researchers studying early tokenized markets have already found significant cost savings, with programmability allowing near instant settlement and more efficient collateral use. They have already found significant cost savings with programmability, allowing near instant settlement and more efficient collateral use. This is the next step. No ifs, ands, or buts. You get in or you get left. They're telling you right here, this is what the International Monetary Fund is saying. These are big players in institutions. This is where money's going. Now, they already know the risk, okay? So they're going to let you know, I know what you're thinking. We know it, and we're preparing for it. Warns of risk tokenization can bring. The IMF stresses, however, that those same efficiencies can amplify familiar dangers. Automated trading has already led to sudden market plunges known as flash crashes, and the IMF cautions that tokenized markets with instantly executed trading can be more volatile than traditional venues because at least there's a hole you can trap back, right? Oh, man, we got a little bit of time. Stop that transaction. Instantaneous, done. But companies like Ripple are have already created what they call clawback. So with your transactions, one door opens, the transaction hits the highway, goes to the next house or apartment, knocks on the door, door opens, bing, transaction is done. Well, that whole transaction was tracked. We know what happened. We know where it went. It's all tracked. So of course you can claw it back. It's tracked. All right. In stress conditions, complex chains for smart contracts written on top of each other could interact like falling dominoes during a local problem into a systemic shock. So I think about this as like is what I think. First layer, second layer, right? So if, and I could be wrong, get in the comment section. But if I believe, or I think I've got it right, your first layer is something like Ethereum. And then there's a second layer on top that collects a bunch of transactions and then sends those transactions through Ethereum, the first layer, as a big block. Like that big block? Nah. You want a Chevy small block. That was the big block. I'm just joking. So if you take the first layer, if I understand this correct, and you can't take simple transactions every second on the first layer because there's so much use. Everybody's on that road trying to get these transactions done. So what you do is you get let's say an 18 wheel or 53 footer, and you put all these transactions in that tractor trailer, that 53 footer, and then you put it on the Ethereum highway, right? So now you got tractor trailers running on the highway, but these tractor trailers are running through other companies, right? So it's like, okay, we can't let the common person driving cars, pickup trucks, motorcycles, and that's too much traffic on this particular highway. So what we got to do is we have to change the way we do transactions. Let's get a second layer. This is how I understand it. I might be wrong. So then if something like something happens on layer one, then that means the trucks or the tractor trailers, and this is just how I'm understanding it. Maybe they're saying that will cause issues, which if you wreck the tractor trailer, right, because there's something that happened on the highway, the Ethereum highway, then all those transactions that tractor trailer is carrying might be destroyed or corrupted because of the accident from one thing happening. All these other things are packed into it, and now you got a lot of stuff to try to track down, because instead of it being the one-to-one transaction, it's 1 to, let's say, 10,000 transactions in that 53 footer, in that trailer. Now it's a little bit difficult because you packed all these transactions from all these different houses. Like, so you went to a warehouse. The warehouse had collected all these packages, right? And they brought them into the warehouse and they said, okay, now let's disperse them. Let's get them on this tractor because it's going up here to this address, and boom, takes all of them, drop, 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 and to a warehouse, and I guess, right, unpacks it, and boom, everybody gets the transactions. I wonder, could that even be like how we do transactions today, moving packages? You know, the more you think about it, get in the comment section. Anyways, before we get long winded. All right, it goes on to tell you about the video. It highlights the risk of fragmentation. If many tokenized platforms emerge that don't speak to each other, this would undermine the liquidity and failing to deliver on the promises of fast, cheaper markets. They all got to speak the same language in a sense because, again, you're talking about all these transactions being moved. They're looking at all this. Then it goes on to drop an ominous warning, hinting at increased participation from global governments to come. Increased participation from global governments to come. If you haven't gotten in, you're crazy. Increased participation from global governments to come. Governments have rarely been content to stay on the sidelines during important evolutions of money. Okay? Rarely have they been content to stay on the sidelines. You think they're going to stay on the sidelines? Listen, not going to happen. Not going to happen. Listen, the government's role in money shifts. History is littered with examples of global governments participating in monetary evolutions. In 1944, the Bretton Woods Agreement saw governments actively redesign the global monetary system, fixing exchange rates to the United States dollar and tying the dollar itself to gold. It was a top-down decision that shaped cross-border finance for a generation. When mounting fiscal costs and external imbalances made the gold peg unstable, the collapse of the framework in the early 1970s ushered in fiat currencies and floating exchange rates, alongside structural larger public sector deficits in many advanced economies. The IMF research meets a maturing tokenization market. This is not the IMF's first foray into tokenization. The fund has spent years probing, listen, they have spent years probing the tokenization market structure and digital money. Shifting that analysis into a public-facing explainer video shows that tokenization is now seen as a mainstream policy issue rather than a niche experiment. They're telling you in this video, we're reading about it, this shit's mainstream. It's so mainstream that where are we at? That it has increased the participation from global governments, right? They're coming in. Hey, look, we're coming in. Why? Why are we coming in? Because it is now a mainstream policy issue. It's mainstream. It's everybody's talking about it. This shit is talked about from government to government, nation to nation, institution to institution. If you haven't gotten in, what are you waiting for? Tokenized markets have grown to a multi-billion-dollar industry with key players like BlackRock's BUIDL fund quickly becoming the world's largest tokenized treasury fund. They're holding the treasury. BlackRock, listen, we just saw from the Genius Act, treasury bonds and all these other things, right? So the treasury fund surpassing Franklin Templeton's Franklin on-chain U.S. government money fund and quickly growing, right? Listen, these people, where are we just looking at? They are already looking at this shit is going mainstream. They're saying this shit's going mainstream. The IMF video, we don't need to go to the video more. All right, so listen, the shit is mainstream. That's all they're saying. They're saying they don't put the IMF put out a video to let you know. If you saw it, you saw it. If you didn't, you didn't. If you know, you know. But they're basically saying this shit is mainstream. Governments are getting in this shit. The shit is mainstream. BlackRock been sitting back in the cut doing XYZ with the Treasury Fund. Listen, it's not a game. These are the messages to let you know, get in or get left. I don't know what else to tell you. You can get in or get left, right? The IMF, they put out a video. There it is. What else can I tell you? They told you. You don't need me. They told you. I read it. They told you. Hey, listen, shit's going down. All right, that's it.